then. This is a welcome change, a welcome U-turn from the government, but why has it taken so long for them to reverse their policy about vouchers?
Well, I think it's just simply the pressure that's been applied through the masses, and credit due to Mark Rashford for the amazing work that he's done, and him speaking so openly about his own lived experience coming from a poor family background. I think it's just very simple that the government has avoided many responsibilities through this COVID situation, and many vulnerable children and families have been impacted by this. And this is something that will make a massive difference to millions of children across the country.
Well, this scheme will help over 1 million children, but many more are living in poverty, and that they won't be helped, will they?
No, and I've seen firsthand, Kate, during COVID, both food and digital poverty. I mean, I live here in Bradford. In some wards in our area, up to 50% of children live in poverty. We've seen how dependent those families are on the schools and the school meals. And the schools have done a fantastic job of trying to support these families through COVID. And many were very fearful about the impact that these summer holidays will have. And likewise, we know that the ramifications of a poor diet, neglect, abuse can lead to children going into care. And this is a real fear for us in the sector, that there's a very real chance that come the September return to school, we could see a sizable number of children sadly entering care simply because of these factors to do with neglect. And it is a short-term fix that the government has applied here, but hopefully it will have a long-term impact on supporting families.
In terms of numbers then, Shadim, I mean, could this new change, this U-turn, actually keep children out of the care system?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what we've got to bear in mind is something around 60 to 70% of children who go into care is due to abuse and neglect. And often we think about the worst when we think about abuse and neglect, but often the underlying reasons could be that a parent is going through some emotional stress. They may have lost their job, they may have lost work. We know that an additional 600,000 people have joined the jobless list. This is simply going to have an impact on the ability of families to support their children. And when we're talking about children from low-income areas, families that are already living on the breadline, that are very reliant upon benefits and other such support, they pose a high risk of adding additional pressure to an already broken social care system. So this is something that is very welcome, and alongside this we hope that the government will be able to support vulnerable families and schools, even more so because this short-term investment will have a massive long-term impact. I mean, if you imagine the average cost of keeping a child in care is anywhere between £50,000 to £60,000 per year, and that could run on for many years, Kate. So it's certainly a wise investment to make in the future prosperity of low-income families and to support the social welfare state as well.
Shadim, very briefly, if you wouldn't mind, a final question. Has the COVID-19 outbreak exposed the cracks in how we help at-risk children?
Well, I mean, the reality has been that there's a few campaigns I've been involved in personally. So one example is the internet campaign. In my local area here, I've seen that up to a third of children in my local primary school where my daughter attends don't have internet access. So whilst we speak about the internet being the future and the revolution of connecting people, sadly in this case it's been the divider. So many of those children who have been at home have not been able to complete their schoolwork. So this has exaggerated the divide between poor income families and middle income families, where their education has been further impacted. And this will have a major impact for many years to come. So we do hope that alongside this additional support for the food vouchers, there's also consideration given to how we will support to close the gap between the educational attainment of low-income children.
So more work to be done. Shadim Hussain, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate.